Okay, notes 5.1 part 2. So in the last notes we discussed the empty seats here in these two rows. In these first two rows, here's the stage. Okay, so what happens when this row fills up? Well, the short answer is when this row fills up, another row appears. Okay, another row appears magically. Well, not necessarily magically, but you know the idea. You get the idea. So the second row appears, and it looks like this. Ready? It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we can start this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first row, 2 seats. Second row, 8 seats. Third row, 8 seats. And you can see that it's starting to get a little bit complicated here. And so just like at a regular show, well, not all shows, but a lot of shows, there will be seating numbers, right? So you don't just tell someone go to the third row and get a seat. A lot of times, if you buy a ticket to a show, there's going to be a number. It'll say seat 4 row Z, or seat 4 row B, whatever. So we can assign these seating assignments to the empty seats as well. And here's how this happens. Okay, we start by these first. This first seat is called 1S. 1S1. Try to zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, 1S1. Then this is 1S2, and we're done. Next row, 2S1. Now you can put it down here. You don't necessarily have to. I'm just going to start doing it clockwise. In fact, you can put it anywhere you want. I'm going to do it clockwise just because it gets pretty complicated here in a second. So this is seat 2S2. Then we have seat 2P1 and seat 2P2. 2P3, and then basically these are all P's. 2P4, 2P5, and 2P6. Alright, well that's all full. So then can you guess what the next seat's going to be in the new row? Well, it's going to be row 3. 3S1, 3S2, 3P1, 3P2, 3P3, and so on. P5. I'm missing one, I think. 3S1, 3S2, 3P1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one somewhere. That's why right there. I did 3P4 twice. 3P5, 3P6. There you go. Okay, so then what happens after this? Well, these first 3 rows, they cover electrons all the way up to, there's row 1, row 2, row 3. It'll cover electrons all the way up to argon. Pretty neat, right? So this is your first row, literally your first row, your second row, your third row, and it covers it all the way up to argon. After argon, you'll notice that that's when the transition metals appear, and this row changes a little bit. I'll show you what that looks like right now. I'm going to fill them in first, but I'm going to go ahead and draw another one. And starting with potassium, I'm going to draw in what this last row here looks like. Okay, so bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, here's what the next row looks like. Actually, it's not. I'll be right back one more time. Okay, here's what the next row looks like for real. So the next row, as you can see, has a lot more seats. Okay, and it goes like this. It starts out the same as the first 3, which is 4S1 and 4S2. But then this is called the D block right here. Okay, so then instead of, you might assume it's going to go 4D, but it doesn't. It goes 3D1, 3D2, 3D3, all the way to 3D10. And then it goes to 4P, 4P1, all the way to P6, 4P2, 4P3, 4P4, 4P5, and 4P6, and that's it. Okay, so that's how that one works. And you can see now it's getting really complicated, and you could imagine that if you had to do this all the time, it would be a tremendous pain to have to fill this thing out. Now, if you go on Wikipedia and look, and I'll try to post a picture of it, they do fill these out. I mean, you can, people do, it's possible. But there's a shorthand notation that I'm going to show you right now. Okay, the shorthand notation looks like this. It'll say 1S, and you start down at the bottom. Don't do it up top and work your way down. You start at the bottom and work your way up. You start 1S, and then you have that right there. And then you can go 2S, and you can have that right there. And then next to 2S, a little bit higher, is 2P. And then you go 1, 2, 3. And then you can go 3S, like so, and again. And then a little bit higher, 3P. P's got 1, 2, 3. And then 4S. And then 4P. I'm sorry, 4S. No, that's right. And then put 4P right there. I know what you're thinking. No, Mr. Moderaus, what about the D row? Well, then you go 3D. A little bit, you put it 3D, like right between S and P. So you can put 3D right here. 3D, like so. And then you put 5 dashes for D. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, what about the 10? You said D's got 10 seats. Yeah, it does. But here's the thing. With this particular shorthand notation, you can put two electrons in each dash. Okay? 2 electrons can fill each dash. So I could put, and I'm going to use an arrow like so. I can either go like that or like that. And that represents the seats being filled up. And this thing's called the Aufbau principle. Oh boy, I forget how to spell it. I think it's AUFF, BAUGH, Aufbau principle. Okay? 2 electrons, which is basically 2 electrons per shell, per orbital rather, per orbital. Per orbital, we'll say per orbital seat. How about that, since we were calling them seats before? Okay, per orbital seat. That's the Aufbau principle. So with the Aufbau principle now, we can pick something like iron. So let's do this with iron. Okay, iron's 26. It's got 26 electrons. So here's how you do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say what we're doing here. This is iron, Fe, and that's going to be 26 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's been a long time since I've drawn these arrows, so I'm rusty at it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oops. It doesn't matter which direction they go. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now, remember, once you get up to 4P, you skip it. That's why we try to put 3D a little bit between. You put it a little bit lower. Okay, so you go this, that, and then that. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We're going to 26. Now check it out. Look, you can only fill these in like so. One at a time. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and now you can double them up, 26. Okay, so even though I put in 2 at a time like that, I knew that this was going to be filled up. You have to put them in singly first, okay, and then you can double them up. Then you can double them up.